Let me ask you something. Do you like Call of Duty? What about Gary's mod? TTT? Jailbreak? I mean, what do you guys even think about Castle Wars? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then gather around, my cubes, gather around, and let me tell you a story about a game so good, a game so amazing, that honest to God, I have no idea why more people aren't talking about it for the VR space. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be looking at Pavlov VR. Now let me get this out of the way right now. You will need a VR headset to play this game. I know it sounds weird that I said that, but there are legit people who think you can play this game without VR. I mean, unlike VR chat, this does require a VR headset. Another thing is that there are two versions of Pavlov VR. If you own a Quest and buy Pavlov through the Quest store, you cannot play with players on the PC side. This is due to the fact that there's currently no crossplay, which makes sense as the Quest version is not compatible with the PC version, and that version runs really bad, I hear. But in the future, with the updates and the latest update to Unreal Engine 5, there might be cross compatibility. Anyways, Pavlov is amazing. You want to play zombie Star Wars survival? Go right ahead. Want to play your favorite Black Ops zombie map? They're right there, right on the Steam Workshop page or online. Download it and play it, or like I said, find a server and join it to play with other people. In fact, a Giga Chad from the Pavlov community made an entire Minecraft zombies map, Left 4 Dead style, with custom zombies and objectives, and even Pack-a-Punch with music and everything. This is truly a game made by developers who love the community, and the community has shown that love back by making and importing amazing content for it. Now, Pavlov is a multiplayer based PvP or PvE, from hunting down a giant Sasquatch alone or with your friends, to full-on battles on community imported maps like Halo, Modern Warfare 2, and even a cyberpunk-esque map. You know, Cyberpunk 2077. There's a map in here, it kind of reminds me of it. You got the yellow. Anyways, but Eve, I hear you say, I don't want to play with a modern weapon. I want to go back to World War II. I want to play with tanks. I want to parachute out of a flying airplane. I want to ride in the World War II cars. Eve, come on, man. Well, have I got good news for you. You see, this friend boy brings you the best news all year round. You can. In fact, large scale battles are possible. These push and defense style objectives a la Battlefield 1 with tanks, cars, and of course parachuting out of planes. Eventually, I imagine they're going to add things like World War II planes that you can actually control, because you can drive around and control buggies and cars. So I imagine this is going to be a future thing they add. I would never use them, however, because I get really motion sickness when it comes to planes. And if you haven't controlled a car in Pavlov, then oh man, just get ready, because it is the most motion sickness inducing thing I've ever done. I don't know how nobody else is on the edge of throwing up, but I am. But to the other players, they love it. And I'm hoping the developers add planes, because this map is big enough for them. Believe me, the developers went all out in making this mode. From the Americans and Germans chanting a rhyme to represent their country when you're playing as them.
Don't let them take another.
Oh shit.
Advance. Storm on grip.
I panic.
Whatever we do.
This way.
To the impressive Gore System, it's all these little things that add up and make the game feel alive and full of vigor, and at times get incredibly tense. Now, sometimes you will come across phenomena within this game that are so otherworldly, so crazy, that these players are using 100% of their brain, and by some type of divine power, the way they use these weapons, it makes me fearful. I've seen players put guns over their head and shoot, and of course, the rapid dualies. I don't know how these players do it, and I've asked my boyfriend how he does this since he's one of these players that uses 2000% of their brain, and the most I get is you just tap fast, so amazing. With all these good things though, you might be asking, Eve, what's the catch? You know, what's that special thing that's bad about the game? What's something that's gonna make me dislike the game or take the experience away from the overall? Well, there are some things bad about this game. Like I always say, no game is perfect. Sometimes you'll be playing team deathmatch and you'll randomly be switched teams, which completely resets your kill counter, and sometimes you don't notice it because you're so into the game, which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but sometimes you get so involved in the game that you don't even notice that you switch teams until your friend tells you. There is friendly fire, which can be annoying when you run around a corner and shoot first only to realize that you just headshot at your own teammate, which is basically every match of Siege and CSGO at this point. This game has a friends tab so you can join your friends, but I wish it had a friends group tab like Call of Duty, so that way me and my friends could group up and go on different servers together at the same time as a team. Now this does get annoying because if your friend leaves, you won't know unless they tell you. It's like almost as if you're playing multiplayer by yourself and you just have to peek over their shoulder and be like, hey man, did you leave the server, or where are you going, or look man, just tell me when you leave the server because this game doesn't keep us together. Like that is by far the biggest complaint I have about this, is the grouping. And that's the thing, the game, it doesn't tell you if your friend leaves. So if they leave the game, you won't know unless they tell you or you tell them, which can make for some pretty awkward moments where I've been playing with my friends and they'll leave and I'll think they're still in the game, and then I ask them and they're like, oh, we already left. And since the game doesn't tell you, you won't know. So sometimes I'll just spend 30 minutes playing multiplayer without my friends thinking they're in the match. Not only that, it's happened rarely where I've been disconnected from the match, but thankfully rejoining is extremely simple. But I do wish there was a rejoin server button, kind of like CSGO's competitive button when you disconnect, and it gives you like 5 minutes, it'll hold your spot before the bot takes over. I wish that was something they would add. However, this is really rare, so I'm not even sure if I would call this a negative because it's happened to me twice in the past like 3 months. So I'd say this isn't really something that's gonna happen to someone else. Another issue that usually happens but randomly is where I'll lose tracking on my right hand, which is the hand that I hold my gun in. However, this is an issue that just doesn't happen to me, but to my boyfriend as well. So I don't know what causes it. I imagined it was our index being old. That's really the only explanation I can come by, but I haven't seen it happen to other people, so I'm privy of the idea that maybe it's just our index being old, which is all the more weirder because games like VR chat, where you're always using your hand, it doesn't lose tracking. So I don't know if this would be a issue with the game or maybe my base station or something. I haven't been able to find the issue, and it happens randomly, but it doesn't happen in other VR games, which is weird. Which, I mean, Valve, where's that index 2, buddy? You thought I just forgot? I'm not gonna forget. Index 2, like, I'm waiting for it. And that's it. No, really, that's it. That's all of the critiques I can make about the game. The game is just so good that I tried looking for more things to nitpick towards the game, but I can't find it, honestly. The game runs well, it looks amazing, the guns and gun customization is really nice. It's not on the levels of Tarkov customization, which, to be honest, no game ever will. If there is a game out there that will let me recreate my 3 flashlights to the shotgun like Tarkov did, then I will give it that badge of Tarkov approval. Believe me. Pavlov has no objective, so to speak. There is no campaign. The fun is what you want to play, and it's pretty amazing. And the community, oh my goodness, the community is the best. Some of the kindest players I've ever played with. They're so caring. Honestly, I'd never been prouder to call myself a Pavlov player. In fact, the community is so kind and endearing that they're almost on the level of Rainbow Six Siege or CSGO's competitive players when it comes to kindness. The great thing about Pavlov is that it will download all the assets from the server you joined, which is nice, as if you just played a map that you absolutely like, well, the game will download it automatically and save it in that off chance that you ever want to play it again, and just look at the tab and boom, It's right there. TTT and Jailbreak are on here with their own custom characters and custom guns, as well as rules for these game modes. Essentially, you know, Gary's Mod in VR. Except wait, someone in the community had that same idea and legit put Gary's Mod in Pavlov. Now, it doesn't have all of the stuff that Gary's Mod does, but you have to admit what is here is truly amazing. I think one of the things I really like about Pavlov is that the game defaults to the open mic, which allows for players to communicate with one another and even lets you have a couple seconds to say something to the guy who just headshotted you and then teabagged you while wearing that Donkey Kong outfit. I love the toxicity and trash talking in Pavlov.
操你妈小逼崽子！你真没见过黑社会哈！操你妈的！敢不敢跟我比划比划？
It makes me realize that although the old Modern Warfare 2 lobby days are gone, its legacy will live on in games like this. I mean, technology, guys, it's truly amazing. We are living in the cyberpunk future that CD Projekt Red has promised us. Now, as of this review, Pavlov is going through a major update. They've gone and updated their entire engine to Unreal Engine 5, which means better graphics, lightings, and possibly skins? If that's too technical, basically they took the funny Fortnite game with Goku and used that to update their game. I remember when I first got the game, I would pretend to be a CIA agent who was training, and I used Pavlov as that training instrument, and I would just play for hours and hours on end pretending to be a federal agent. Now, of course, I can't talk about Pavlov without mentioning one of my favorite game modes that I love, the Hide. The Hide, or essentially the Hidden, is a game mode from Source Engine 2007, an engine so old that not even dinosaurs have stopped using it because of how old it is. This engine was used to create the Hidden, and I love the Hidden game mode to death. Back in 2010, I would play this game mode with my friends after school, and oh my goodness, the memories. Ah, the memories. Sadly, the game is dead now, and development has all but stopped, but I can't stop here. I have to give credit to these boys for making a game that is responsible for such happy memories, so thank you guys. I really hope Valve hired these talented boys and that they're living comfortable lives doing what they love. Now, the game was remade on Gary's Mod by fans, and I'm so grateful that the game is on Gary's Mod for people to try out, but the original, the OG Loke is still here, and sadly, the developers' last post about it was in 2012, so rest in peace, the Hidden, you'll be missed. But just when everyone had forgotten about the Hidden, on September 28th, 2021, developers Bankrupt Games released the Hide update, and oh my goodness, the Aurora soldiers look mwah. The Hidden itself looks phenomenal, and the map, oh my goodness, the map is simply eye candy, and the new guns, ooh, that's some spicy stuff. But something that I would like for the devs to add are more guns and more gun skins. More guns because, hey, you know, it's always nice. You can never have too many guns. And the new update is adding 2 new guns, so I hope this is a sign of us getting even more weapons in the future. Gun skins are something that's confirmed, and you can actually have gun skins on some maps that allow you to. You don't get to keep them, sadly, but it's sort of a tease as to what's to come. If they did the whole CSGO gun skin system, then I would be buying some of these because 1, they look really neat, and 2, it's just a really nice way to support the devs and all their hard work. This is a small development team led by David Virilio. How you say his name? Virilio? And the work they've done here is very impressive. The game's responsiveness and fluidity with gunplay is really good. Comparing it to other VR shooters like Onward and Contractors is a bit like comparing VR chat to Chill Out VR. Contractors and Outward have their own gripes, and their shooting responsiveness just isn't as good as Pavlov. It's the same with Chill Out VR and VR chat. VR chat is a much more fluid experience when playing Chill Out VR. We played Chill Out VR, and let's just say the experience with it wasn't as good. Now, I know $25 is quite a bit of money. Believe me, I know. But please, if you have VR, either Quest, Index, HTC, or any of the other PC VR headsets, and you have the money, try it out for 1 hour. Just give it 1 hour, and I know you'll love it. And if you like it, then look at it this way. Better to spend $25 $65 on an amazing VR shooter than $70 on the Foreskin game. Now, I should mention once again that this is a VR exclusive game, so if you don't have VR, well, just play Siege or CSGO competitive, and I can guarantee you the player interaction will be 100% the same as Pavlov's. Anyways, I've been ChipCube, and now if you'll excuse me, I got some Pavlov players to trash talk to in a Squidward costume because they need to know I'm the winner. Now go on and check the amazing movie review with a bad ending, a review I made for a movie that if it wasn't for its ending and plot holes could have been one of the greats.